I started out with 30,000 gallons, 6 5,000-gallon cisterns, and my wife fusses because, again, when it rains, you fill up quick and it runs over. She's saying, look at all the water we're losing. Well, you got 30,000 gallons in here. Why? Well, she wanted more. So I added 3 more smaller tanks, 1550s. Got y'all women win out. Okay, so then they filled up first rain. But then I got to thinking, I've got a workshop that's a little over 900 square feet, so I put a 5,000-gallon tank there. The little rains we had last week running over. We got a little storage shed that's 14 by 24, so I put 1,000 gallon there. It's full. So right now we've got 40,650. I call it 40,500, which at 100 gallons a day, if you cut back to what I call your drought record, we'll divide 100 into 40,000. That's over 400 days of water use with no rain. That's why I say this is one of the most sustainable ways to have water is a properly designed rainwater harvesting system. Okay. All right, to give y'all some idea, this is the year, our total annual usage, average daily usage, indoor use, and you notice it runs from 43 gallons a day in the house. That was last year, and I said we want to try to stay under 100. And then the outdoor use. Then on the far right is the rainfall. So you'll notice when it rains a lot, we use less water in the yard and vice versa. But nowhere have we used over, I guess the highest use was in 2005. We used 53,451 gallons total. Every morning I read my electric meter, that's just for the heck of it, because it goes strictly with heat. The air conditioning kicks on and goes up. Now I read the house water meter and the yard water meter, and this is where I get these figures from. So you'll notice that the house water goes from about 34% of your usage up to, well, in 2002 we didn't have a yard, it was all in the house. So it's doable to have a normal house and still have rainwater. Okay. All right, some people want to know, well, how clean is this water? Well, I always tell the public utilities that their water is dirty compared to ours. The hardness, 21. And on the middle is what the typical parameters are, and then the right-hand column is what our water tested at. What is it, iron? 0 to 0.3 is okay. We've got less than 0.1. I can't, so sulfate's next, 0 to 100 is good. We got less than 0.1. Nitrates, 0 to 2 is common. We got 0.3.
Chloride.
Okay, the chlorine is next. 0 to 30 is normal. We've got 3. pH, normal is 6.6 to 8.5. We've got 6.58. Rainwater, this is treated rainwater. We just did a test here a month ago. The untreated, the raw water, has got a pH of 7.2. Excuse me, but when you run it through the filters, and this isn't rainwater. When you run it through the filters, what you're doing is you're filtering out the dust. Well, the dust is mainly calcium. So when you remove that, you lower the pH. And our pH runs, like 6.58, just on the bottom of acidity. Conductivity is 0 to 500 is good. We have 7.1. 0 conductivity is pure water. So we're getting pretty close. And then total dissolved solids, you should have less than 1,000 parts per million. We run between 4 and 5, which means we have no lime buildup in our house. The glassware has no film. Our ice is crystal clear. You can see through it. So these are the benefits of rainwater. Then the bacteria analysis, we've never had total coliform or E. coli. Now, coliform is not unusual to find in wells. Most everybody's got that, but we don't have any of that. Okay. Now, we go from the gutters to a sock filter, and on my downspouts I've got a screen that kicks out all the leaves and stuff. So then it goes in here, and I've got a 200 micron sock that catches everything but just dust. Again, you don't want this junk in your cisterns. That's what gives you bad water. Okay. Then we've got all the, this is my initial installation, 6 5,000 gallons. And I'm always experimenting. So I started out at the bottom of these tanks, there's a valve. I keep all the valves closed. The tanks are full, I keep the valves closed. That's mainly for redundancy. If something were to ever happen to one tank, if you had all the valves open, you can drain your whole system. This way you don't lose one. We've never had that problem. Then the pipes on the top, the way I did it at first was open up the valves at the bottom and water would receive its own level to fill the tanks up. Well, that meant you had to be there to fiddle with the valves. So we put a pipe from top to top to top to top. So when tank 1 and 3 are full, they automatically fill all the other tanks. Again, I'm trying to make this thing as maintenance free as possible. Okay. Okay, here's the extra tanks I had to add for Mom. They're full, we've never used the water, we've never had to use any of the water. Okay. Okay, from the cisterns, we come into the pump house. I've got a 1 horsepower booster pump, and on the left is a pressure tank. For those of y'all who live in the country know what that is. On the bottom that's the yard water. I put a filter housing, but I've never put an element in it, and it's just clear water. The top, I go through a 5 micron pleated filter, and then I go through a charcoal filter. And then the next one. Then I go through an ultraviolet, and that takes care of your bacteria. That's why we've never had bacteria in our water. You need to get something that's at least 12 gallons a minute capacity. And what that means is that you can run water through this system at 12 gallons a minute, and it still had enough ultraviolet rays to kill the bacteria. Now, I'm going to have a biologist or somebody here to tell me it doesn't kill it. It doesn't. What it does is it immobilizes it, and for all practical purposes, it's dead. It can't reproduce. So we say it kills it. It does. It won't show up on anything. Okay. All right. These are different kinds of cisterns. This is a Pioneer, and I think this is a 40,000 gallon cistern here. One of the things, and we'll talk about it in a second. I'll just say, go ahead. All right. In some of the subdivisions, the upscale jobbers, they don't want to see a metal tank, so they camouflage it, and it's beautiful. I've been there. That's a nice tank. Okay. This is a fiberglass tank just south of Bernie at a strip center. This guy has got 3 20,000 gallon fiberglass tanks. He does all of his toilet flushing, all of the maintenance water, cleaning water, and all the landscaping is rainwater. He does have a well for his water fountains, and he uses about 600 gallons a month for the whole center. Everything else is rainwater. Okay. This is another kind of tank. If you're interested in spending some money, these are beautiful. But the polycore tanks are running about 65 cents a stored gallon. These things here will run dollars per stored gallon. And you know, I visited with these people and they said, yeah, but there's a lot of people out there with money and that's what they want. That's what they get. It is, it's nice, but they're expensive. Okay. Now, these are some of the things that we need to talk about on the maintenance and operation of our system. It's very important, and I told you I'm going to hammer on this, to continuously filter your water before it goes in the cisterns. That's the most important step to wind up with high quality water. Okay, keep your first flush roof filters clean. In other words, after a good rain, I go out and take the socks out, turn them upside down, and dump them. Mainly now, these real fine socks, it's just dust particles. Change your 3 or 5 micron filters when necessary, or just set up a maintenance schedule to change them. Mine, the first filters are pleated when you can actually take it out and wash it. So I may do that once. About every 6 months I change my first filter. And the second filter, which is a carbon filter, I change about once a year because it's got a filter in front of it. Okay. Make sure the ultraviolet light is working. Ours has got a little thing on the top that glows when it's working, so you know. Some of the systems have got alarms when the ultraviolet goes out, it rings the alarm. Okay, in new construction, it's probably better not to use copper because rainwater is so pure, it's very aggressive. You got to remember, all this well water that you have that's so hard, it's got sulfur and iron and all that junk in it. It started out as rainwater, but when it goes to the ground, it leaches all the minerals. The rainwater will try to leach the copper out of the pipes. But if you've already got copper in your house, that's all right. You can put a sacrificial anode in the ground and it'll eat the anode up and leave the copper alone. Okay. When seeking a pad site, all right, with these you need to have some place to sit the cisterns. Now, I started out with multiple cisterns because I like the redundancy there. But, like, if I had more